Hello and welcome to City Focus. I'm Diane Gonzalez. It was November 11th, 1918 when World War I came to an end. A year later, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first Armistice Day. In 1954, the name was changed to Veterans Day. It's a day for Americans to honor the veterans of all our nation's wars. Joining me to talk about Lincoln's annual Veterans Day observance is Ron Lechner from the Mayor's Advisory Council for the Veterans Memorial Garden. Ron, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Diane, for asking me.
And I want to start out just by talking about your own military service.
Well, I'm retired Air Force. I spent 20 years in the Air Force, and I got to see 38 states and 9 countries in that 20 years, so I got a wide range of customs areas and everything, and I totally enjoyed it and stuff. So,
well, thank you very much for your service. Tell us about this year's program at the Auld Recreation Center.
Well, as everyone knows, it's the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, so we're going to use that as our
kind of theme?
Theme, if you want to call it that. So we're going to, just to run over a couple of the items on it, we're going to start with, weather permitting now, John Hibbert from the Fire and Rescue is going to do a little bagpipe intro for us and stuff, you know, in or outside the old pavilion and stuff. So we're going to have then Diane Bartles is going to be our welcoming, and then Cindy Lamb's going to take over and do the introduction from the city council and stuff. She's agreed to do that. The Pershing rifle team will be there from UNL to do the colors. We've got our keynote speaker is going to be a Dr. Thomas Berg from UNL, and he is the one that originally, hopefully I get this right, from Diana, let me know if I don't, you know, he is the one that specifically identified and starting the Pershing Center here in Lincoln and everything. So I think that's a big kudos for us and stuff that we do have somebody right in the Lincoln area that did something so significant for the Lincoln and Lincoln area and stuff.
All right. And usually lots of patriotic music as well?
Always going to be a lot of patriotic music. The Lincoln Women's Chorus has agreed in principle to be our singers and stuff. So we're going to do some things from World War I and have some music from that era as well. So might even have a little sing-along. So it just depends upon what kind of music they want to come up with and stuff. So I think that's going to be something fun.
All right. Now the program is in coordination with a walk that takes place ahead of the program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that walk has been going on for I don't know how many years. I know a couple of the organizers for it that organizes. They get ready on the west side of Memorial Stadium at 9 o'clock. They form up, and then they have and meet and greet each other. And then first step off is about 9:30 on that day, come rain or shine, and they'll do a pretty good step to come down from Memorial Stadium all the way down into, and we're privileged to have them come into Veterans Memorial Garden in Antelope Park and everything. So,
all right. Tell us what Veterans Day means to you as a veteran, someone who has served for a long time.
Wow, it's something that's an individual thing, but it means a lot because I know that, you know, my dad, you know, I want to use this for example, my dad was a Korean War veteran, and as kids, we really never got to find out anything about what he did, you know, in the service because he just never wanted to talk about that. And there are so many of the veterans out there that just do not want to talk about their wartime service. Now, it's really important that we find out if they would talk and come across with that information and tell us what they did, how they did it, you know, kind of thing, their experiences. I just think it's amazing and stuff because we're losing so many of those veterans every day that all those stories go away, Diane, and it's just a matter of we really should have those stories available to keep in touch with everything for veterans, just as a memory for everything. So,
Now, Ron, you serve as chair of the committee for the Veterans Memorial Garden. Let's talk just a little bit about the garden itself.
Yes.
Very special spot here in Lincoln.
Yes, it is, and we're very proud of that spot, and I am very proud of that spot down in Antelope Park. A lot of people know that there's Antelope Park there. A lot of people know the Old Pavilion is there, but a lot of people still do not know that there is actually the Veterans Garden down there. And I invite people to come down and take a walk around. We've got 26 monuments that are for different areas. We've got bricks of honor for individuals. You can purchase a brick of honor now, because what we're trying to do is to honor, inspire, and educate people on the veteran and the veteran's story, so that those stories will always be with us. So come down. It's an awe-inspiring place. Just walk around, take a look. Maybe you know somebody there that you don't, that you say, oh, that person's down there and stuff. And we're hoping that, you do just come down there, because there's a lot of people that just come down there and sit and weep, because they'll remember somebody that they've lost, or somebody that's coming down there and says, because it's an honor. You don't have to be deceased to have them, because I have a brick down there. And I'm honored to have that brick down there, because it just shows that not only did I serve, but it is just an honor and a distinction to do that for us in the garden and to make it available to others that want to purchase one.
Well, it's just a short walk from one of Lincoln's busiest playgrounds as well. So encourage people, when you're at that beautiful playground, just take a short walk and show the kids the garden.
That's true. That is true. I had a tour down there. We brought a kids group asked to come down there. And the only bad thing is it was raining so hard the day that they wanted to come down there. It was funny. But those kids really enjoyed it, for what little they got to see, and I could tell them about it and stuff. But yeah, come down. And it's right next to that park. So that's another thing people know of, that it's right next to that park. If you tell them oh, it's right there. Okay, all right. So they'll come down and hopefully.
All right. Ron, thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about the details again. Veterans Day 2018, the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. The event is 11 a.m. Sunday, November 11th, at the Auld Recreation Center in Antelope Park. Now, there is a regular series of events that take place that the Veterans Memorial Garden Committee puts on. The other one we want to mention that's coming up fairly soon is Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. That event is 11:55 a.m. Friday, December 7th, again at the Auld Recreation Center at Antelope Park. Ron, when the weather's nice, you can have some of your events actually at the garden, but November and December are a little iffy.
We'd love to have them all in the garden, but with Veterans Day and Pearl Harbor Day, we automatically just move those inside, and that way we don't have to worry about people being outside in the cold.
It's still a beautiful atmosphere in there.
It's still a beautiful atmosphere to see all the flags flying for Veterans Day. Now, we don't fly them all for Pearl Harbor Day because the temperature usually is too cold for that. But seeing all the other events and having all the flags out on each monument, is really something to behold.
And one of the most inspiring things that I enjoy is when you play the anthems of the different services and the veterans stand.
Yes.
That's very moving.
Yes, and it is, kind of thing. We got to make sure we get them in order, which we do, because you'll have a couple of we like to do them in order of precedence of when they first came as official groups, Army, Navy, and so on. So yes. So.
All right. Again, Veterans Day 2018, 11 a.m. Sunday, November 11th, Auld Recreation Center at Antelope Park. Thank you so much, Ron, for putting on these events and for everything you do for the garden.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we'll tell you about another effort to honor veterans called Wreaths Across America. Stay with us.
I'm Mickey Esposito, Public Works and Utilities Director.
And I'm the Assistant Chief of Police, Brian Jackson.
To keep Lincoln on the move, we depend on you to keep construction zones safe for our workers. First, check for closures by visiting lincoln.ne.gov.
Allow plenty of time to reach your destination. Slow down in work zones and avoid distractions like your phone.
Be patient, and remember, we're working to keep you on the move.
Let's work together to keep work zones safe.
Welcome back to City Focus. Since 2010, Lincoln has participated in the National Wreaths Across America program by having wreaths placed on veterans' graves in Wyuka Cemetery. Diane Bartles is the local organizer of the effort. Diane is on the Wyuka Historical Foundation board. Diane, thank you for being with us. We've had you on before, but not for a while. So this is fun. Tell us why you were inspired to bring this program to Lincoln 8 years ago.
Well, it's very important to me that we do not forget those who have served and in some cases sacrificed with their lives to protect the freedoms of our country. And I have come in recent past to know Gold Star mothers who lost actually a son and a daughter in the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. So their greatest fear is that their sons or daughters will be forgotten. And I think Ron Lechner spoke a little bit about that previously with respect to we need to remember and honor and teach our children about.
Be their witness. That's the theme for this
Yes.
year. Is that a national theme?
It is a national theme, yes. And part of that will encompass when a wreath is placed at one of the markers at Wyuka Cemetery, a person will step back, and if they're in the military, they will salute and say their name, the name of the person who is on the name on the marker. And if they are a civilian, they will put our hand over our heart and say the name. So they are not forgotten.
All right. And where do the wreaths come from? That are placed?
Maine, Harrington, Maine, and they're fresh balsam wreaths, 20 inches, red waterproof bow, hand-tied, that's placed on them. They have their own, I call it a forest up there, and when the wreaths come in boxes, they come on trucks donated by local trucking companies, including Ackley with Creek Carrier. Phyllis and Dwayne have been really helpful in allowing their trucks to help bring the wreaths. We open up the boxes, and I mean, it smells like we're in the forest in Maine.
That's
beautiful.
wonderful. How many wreaths have you been able to place at Wyuka?
We placed 1,600 the past 2 years. We started 9 years ago, and we started, I think it was 250, 300 maybe, and just through the succeeding years we've been able to increase that. So all of the veterans who are buried in our 3 soldier circles also will have a wreath with a 1,600. And then we also do grave specific, which means if you have a veteran that is buried outside of the soldier circles, then you may either place that wreath, I will give that out to you on the day of wreath laying, or else we will place it for you also.
All right. Well, let's give some details then on how people can participate. The wreaths, to purchase a wreath to be placed on a soldier's grave in Wyuka is just $15. You can send a check to Diane, 1801 Mindoro Drive, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68506. And that check should be made out to
Wreaths Across America.
Wreaths Across America. Also, as she mentioned, if you have a question about a grave-specific wreath, her number is 429-3342. And then you can also donate online at wreathsacrossamerica.org. The part after the slash is very important, NE0001. You'll need to know that in order to make sure that your wreath actually comes to us here in Nebraska.
Correct.
All right. Then you've got a couple of programs coming up as well. There's a program at the Capitol and then the actual laying of the wreaths.
Yes,
Tell us about
okay.
that.
Well, on December 10th, there is a program at 11 o'clock. It's the kickoff to Wreaths Across America Week in Nebraska. The governor will have written a proclamation. There will be music, there will be a speaker, and they will accept a very large wreath that is going to be on display in the Capitol through January. And then the event out at Wyuka is December 15th, and that will be, of course, the laying of the wreaths. We have a short program at 11 o'clock. Again, music, military, patriotism, and everyone will have a chance to place a wreath. So volunteers from the community are welcome, military, civic, Boys, Girl Scouts, various entities are welcome to come and help us place the wreaths.
All right. Again, just $15. You can make your check out to Wreaths Across America. Send it to Diane or go online, wreathsacrossamerica.org/NE 0001. You mentioned the other organizations that are involved. You mentioned Creek Carriers. What other
Yes.
groups help make this
Well,
possible?
we have Union Bank. They're one of our presenting sponsors. And then we have some individuals, too, that anonymously give money for the wreaths to be purchased.
And why is this cause so important to you?
We just should not forget. I am a product of World War II. I grew up with my dad telling me stories, selling war bonds. He was the largest seller in the community in northeast Nebraska. And then I wanted to join the military. That did not happen. And I just have, since my volunteer has taken place post my teaching in Lincoln Public Schools, I have just become involved with a number of different organizations because to me the military as well as my profession are the two most entities in this country which help to make it what it is today.
All right, Diane, thank you so much for being with us today and for your commitment to this really beautiful project.
It is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That is all for this edition of City Focus. I'm Diane Gonzalez, and thank you for joining us.